Looks like we've got a quorum here, starting a couple minutes early just so we don't run late. And so it's my pleasure to start the afternoon sessions with introducing Abraham from Sun Exchange. I've worked with Abraham for close to a year now, watched his vision and what he's already built, and again, returning theme of sort of already having built something substantial and then figuring out how to tokenize it to the betterment of the token and the company. And this is in the again, large market, another continuing theme, this time instead of digital media, solar energy, and big projects and big innovation. Abraham, take it away.
Thanks very much. Hi everyone. Just so you know, this is the Sonex white paper. I've just come from South Africa, so the interest of my luggage allowance, I didn't bring a copy for everyone, but my business card is on all your tables, so, and it's on the sunexchange.com/token to get the white paper. Okay, so hi everyone. I'm Abraham Cambridge from the Sun Exchange, and we are monetizing sunshine. Now, when Satoshi Nakamoto wrote the Bitcoin white paper, it was done so because he wanted to levelize, or they wanted to levelize and restart the financial sector, basically to create a whole new revolution in the financial world. But whilst our planet is still powered by centralized electricity generation, particularly from fossil fuels, we still live practically in the Victorian era. Now, Sun Exchange is converting photons to electrons to crypto to create solar-powered money. The long-term vision is basically a bank of the 21st century that's backed by distributed solar energy assets located in the sunniest places on Earth. Now, something really incredible has actually happened in our world. We've now crossed a threshold where we can produce electricity cheaper from the sun than we can through burning fossil fuels. I mean, that is a fundamental breakthrough in our civilization. But unfortunately for most people, they can't own solar panels because they live in apartments, they have a rented accommodation, or they live in countries like the UK where it's not really economically advantageous to own a solar panel unless there's a subsidy in place which can be removed at any point. And that's unfortunate because a well-optimized commercial solar energy plant, such as those we offer through our marketplace, can yield between a 10 and 20% IRR, and that's reliable with a high probability of return. So those people at the moment can't own solar panels until now through Sun Exchange. Sun Exchange is a marketplace where anyone in the world can buy solar panels that are installed into commercial and industrial scale solar projects located in the sunniest places on Earth, and from them earn a rental income stream paid in Bitcoin. Now, how it works is we've actually broken down the solar panel ownership to a single solar cell. So you may consider it solar panel real estate. Increments of around $5 per cell. They get installed into a project of their choice. I'll give you a demo in a moment. And those are leased in a 20-year lease contract to the end electricity consumer, which is going to be an industrial, commercial electricity user, such as a mine, factories, schools, hospitals, anything in the built environment. We're not talking about utility-scale solar, because that's still centralized. So who our consumers are, we put solar panels in emerging markets, people where there's a demand and a need for electrification. We're not talking about retrofitting existing grids like the UK and Germany into solar, because that's a persuasion and environmental reasons. This is pure economics. Like, we can give you cheaper electricity up front instantly than you wait for transmission systems to come in. And who's buying the solar projects? Well, anyone living in any city, anywhere in the world, lives in apartments, they can now own solar panels. Funds want to invest in solar projects can now invest into banking-grade, commercial-scale solar projects located in the sunniest places on Earth through our platform. So here's how to solar power your money. You visit sunexchange.com, sign up, and we'll perform a quick identity check so we know who's using our platform. You choose a solar project where you want to have your solar panels leased into, and you tell us how many solar panels you want to buy. Place your order, we'll generate you an estimate of the lease rental income you'll earn throughout the duration of that project. People all around the world are buying these because we're using Bitcoin as the universal currency for doing it, and they're installed, fully insured, and we take care of all the long-term lease agreements. It's all automatic. It's a click of a button. You go to your dashboard, you can check your earnings, get your solar coin distribution as well, your SunX distribution, and you can sit back and earn monetized sunshine to wherever you are in the world. Now, this is already running. Our platform's been running now for a year and a half. And just so you know, we don't actually do the solar installations. We're the marketplace. We've partnered with some of the world's leading solar installation companies to bring us a pipeline of projects, and they then go and install and operate them. Companies like IBC Solar have been operating since 1984. As long as I've been alive, these guys have been building and supplying solar plants. Solar Turtle, amazing off-grid systems. Conco, they basically built Africa's transmission system. They're one of our installation partners. And Alsa Solar, they install throughout the Middle East. Here's a picture of some of our projects, just in case you've not seen the kind of projects we're talking about. This was the world's first cryptocurrency-funded solar plant. This was through our platform in 2016, solar powering a school in Stellenbosch. A tyre recycling factory in Cape Town. An NGO doing climate change mitigation in Cape Town. Elephant sanctuary. A whole microgrid powering 200 homes in Kenya by a 10-kilowatt microgrid. That was actually by PowerHive, who is one of our partners, which I'll get to in a moment. So you've probably heard a lot of energy projects, and we often ask, like, oh, Power Ledger, like WePower, it's like, you like those? Well, actually, totally not. Like, completely different projects. And actually, I call bullshit on most peer-to-peer energy trading platforms for the following reasons. Firstly, we actually enable direct ownership of solar panels, which is just it's asset leasing. It's nothing really to do with energy trading at all. And secondly, that it can be used today. Like, anyone can go to sunexchange.com, you could do it in minutes and buy a solar panel. No other energy trading platform can actually do that. And secondly, because it's asset leasing, it's a universal model. Any country in the world, you can lease a photocopier, you can lease a solar panel as well. If you go to South Africa and try asking the government to trade energy on their cables, they will walk you out the country. So all of the platforms which pertain to do peer-to-peer energy trading are totally not scalable. And those not in the energy sector just don't see that the complexity of energy regulations is probably as complex, if not more, than financial regulations. We also have a rewards program, which I'll get onto in a moment. That's our SunX token. And we also support Bitcoin. I mean, ultimately, we've got to remember that Bitcoin is the linchpin. It's the kingpin currency. If people don't support it and use it, the whole industry is basically down. Okay, so that's why we use it as the most liquid cryptocurrency. We use it as the payment system for paying out rental income. So the SunX token, this is our rewards token. So you can imagine this as like if we were an airline and we issued a new loyalty program, we're issuing our rewards token. So people are going to be earning these when they use the platform. We're selling them upfront in one go through an ICO. And why are we doing this? Well, it gives why would you want to buy the SunX token? It gives you discounts when you buy solar panels through the platform. It's stakeable into our solar project insurance fund, the world's first crypto-based solar project insurance fund for emerging markets, and you'll get paid a 20% return whilst you stake your token in that fund. It's also going to be fuel for solar cell trading. Now, there's going to be a second token, which is later in the presentation, which is a security token, which actually represents the assets that can be traded. The SunX tokens are going to be required to do those trades. So here's how the rewards token works. So you will go, just as I showed you on the previous demo, but here you'll go and choose your solar panels on the rooftops around the world that you want, and you'll accumulate SunX with each purchase. Now, the rewards are actually issued specifically to encourage diversification of your solar portfolio. So regional diversification, different types of infrastructure and different power levels. Now, the more SunX you accumulate, the higher your membership tier. There's 11 tiers to work towards, and your discount level increases. You also get priority. Now, to incentivize you to hold on to your tokens and not dump them, you lose your membership tier if you sell, and you also stake them for your 20% return into the insurance fund. So we have, we've dropped to 6 there. I did this on the train this morning. So 266 million token supply, which would imply a hard cap of 88 million, and the ICO ends on 31st of December. Now, this is open now. It's been live for a month. And so you may be thinking, okay, so 88 million, how is that actually going to be utilized? Well, there's a table in a moment, but basically, we're pre-financing solar projects for our ICO. We're actually going to be pre-building microgrids. We're actually going to be accumulating infrastructure assets. And we're also going to be pre-seeding the solar project insurance fund. So that each token is $1. Now, to compare through the rewards program, you get issued one SunX for every $10 spent. So it's effectively a 90% discount through the ICO and actual acquisition price of the solar cells compared to the rewards program. Purchases over $100,000, we're offering a 40% bonus. This is OTC trades. And over $300,000 token purchase, 50% bonus. We do have a seed round open as well. So if anyone wants to do equity and token purchase, we're offering a 55% bonus. Jurisdiction is in Malta, registered as a utility token. We've already sold 2.4 million. So this just shows how the ratio of the actual distribution. So we're selling for every one token sold, we're putting some into a reserve to issue through the rewards program and some putting into the management and incentive pool with a ratio of 1.67 to 1. Assuming 100 million tokens sold through the ICO, that's all of the ICO completed. 40% goes to business development, 20% into the insurance fund, 26% into a solar project pre-finance, token sale expenses 4%, estimated taxes at 30%, and then R&D into rural infrastructure projects at 6%. Just to compare how 20% staking compares to some of the other top staking tokens, I mean, compare this to Dash and Neo, 5.5% payout when you can stake your Neo, you're getting a 20% return when you stake your SunX. Where we are on the timeline, company was formed in 2014 in October through the Microsoft BizSpark program in Cape Town. Our first project went live August 2016, subsequently did another 5 solar projects since then, and then we launched the SunX pre-sale last September, and the ICO ends this December. The solar project insurance fund goes live Q1 next year, and the Lightning network goes live Q2. Now, Lightning is important for us because we're using Bitcoin payments. Now, our goal is to be able to stream the monetized sunshine in real time, so that you're getting this stream of sunlight money 24 hours a day. And that's why we're encouraging people to put their solar panels around the world. And that's why Lightning is important. And then Q3 is the tokenization of the solar cell. So when the solar cell becomes a crypto asset in its own right, who owns that crypto asset gets the yield. And that's coming next, and that's the SunEC token. And that's, I'm not going to go too much detail because that's not for sale today. It's not live. It's the utility token we're selling today. And that's it. Oh no, there was a video, but I'm going to skip that for the purpose of time. We've got 6,500 members on the platform. We've got 55,000 live solar cells in operation. We've raised 1.4 million pre-seed investment, 150 megawatts of solar projects in the pipeline. We've already generated 240 megawatt hours of electricity. We've got Boost VC as an angel investor, Kalon Ventures, Network Society Ventures are our institutional investors. Alphabet, Binary Financial, through a consortium, through a syndicate in UAE, have bought into our token sale, and Techstars are an investor, and we've also a Techstars graduate. Partners, we partnered with Barclays Bank, trialling our solar project financing in East Africa. Energy Web Foundation is part of the Rocky Mountain Institute. We're trialling it's called the Web of Origin app, so recording the solar asset onto the blockchain, so standardization of proving an asset exists, and we're one of the companies working with RMI on that. We're also working with Rootstock. We're doing a pilot with Rootstock to do smart contracts of the automatic revenue distribution on the Bitcoin blockchain. This is something that we are working on with them as a first proof of concept for actual sidechain Bitcoin transactions, and we are also listed on Bancor. We're also doing projects in Eastern Europe through the UNDP. I'm the CEO, been involved in the solar industry for 10 years. Larry Temlock, he's been in asset finance, he's a financial engineer, he's worked for JP Morgan, Merrill Lynch, you name it, he's been involved, he's our CFO. Lisa Lin has been overseeing development and software for 30 years and has done several exited several companies worth many, many millions. John Wallace, our Chief Sales Officer, was a founding partner of Accenture. And Lawrence Conser heads up our dev team, of which we've got 6 full-time devs in Joburg. Our advisors, Max Kaiser, Stacey Herbert, which I'm sure you're familiar with. Our advisors, Michael Turpin, of course, David Orban, one of the first person to ever buy Ethereum, is our SunX token investor, and Danny Kennedy is the president of the California Clean Energy Fund. So there we are, that's Sun Exchange. As you can see, we're a mission-driven, world-changing organization. We encourage you all to look into what we're doing so we can monetize sunshine and create a solar-powered money system. Thank you. There's the URL, sunexchange.com. If you want to check out our Telegram channel, there it is.
And I think Max is an investor too, right?
Yeah, we're talking Heisenberg Capital.
Yeah. So questions, and please use the microphone to ask them.
Before joining us, what is how long is the video for? Can you maybe play it?
Yeah.
How long is it?
It's about 2 minutes, maybe less. We can play it.
Yeah. Would be nice to see.
Okay, sure. Do we have sound?
Yes. Yep.
Sound?
Each SunX token is linked to an actual solar cell in a Sun Exchange solar power plant. It could be powering a school, a factory, or a whole community in one of our rural microgrids. For each Sunex token purchased, you own the solar cells it represents. Unlike most digital tokens, Sunex represents a physical object, so there's a minimum value, and they are tied to an ongoing revenue stream. Sun Exchange is equipping its solar power plants with additional pay-for-use services, such as provision of internet access, water purification, and cryptocurrency mining, all powered by your solar cells. As rental income accumulates, you will gain ownership of more solar cells at no additional cost. This compounding effect will drive continual economic and environmental transformation. The simple act of purchasing Sunex in this token sale event will have a ripple effect into the coming decades, as whole industries and nations become solar-powered because of your involvement today. This is your chance to own an ever-growing part of the planet's clean energy infrastructure. Sunex tokens will be tradable on major cryptocurrency exchanges, so you can cash in the value of your Sunex token and solar cells. First participants are rewarded with an up to 40% bonus. That means 40% more tokens to reward you for your early participation. The earlier you join, the higher the bonus. Be part of the future crypto solar-powered world. Join Sun Exchange today.
So yeah, that was the video for the security token, not the utility token, just so you know. So yeah, this gentleman here did have a question.
Yeah, what are the total expenses of your actual ICO? You said 3%?
Yeah, I think it's around that.
Wouldn't it be cheaper to do an IPO? And then just airdrop the tokens if you need some sort of utility? Why incur the extra costs?
Well, we want to grow our crypto community. Don't forget, for every person who buys into our cryptocurrency, they become a Sun Exchange user. When we set out, we had a number of objectives. We want to grow the number of users using the platform. We're going to create a rewards token, which is also a cryptocurrency. It supports the industry we're working in. So doing an IPO, we wouldn't have achieved those objectives. Does that answer your question?
It just seems an expensive way to raise money. Sorry, I come from an old-fashioned background.
Yeah, well, we want to get people around the world to buy into this. So we're exploring Asia, America, Australia. It costs money to go and communicate this platform around the world.
I'd say that's an estimate too, correct?
Yeah, it's an estimate. Yeah, I'm trying to go back to that slide. Anyway, so let's move on to another question. Sir.
Plus, also this one, unlike an IPO, does not give up equity.
Yeah.
I saw that Malta charges 30% of tax.
No, that
indirectly. But this can't.
No, that's we've created a budget for tax because as we build solar power plants into some jurisdictions, there's import duties on building solar. So we have an allowance for paying tax not just for the ICO, but tax for all tax for the company because when we're building out solar power plants.
I believe Malta's 5%, and you can get rebates against that.
Yeah, I believe so.
To be fair, Malta has more double taxation rules anywhere else in the world. It's probably the best.
That is why I was surprised, because I know the Maltese tax
the
regulation
tax
fairly
is
well. So,
like for example, if you're going to import solar panels into the United States from China now, there's a pretty heavy duty. So we've got to make sure we've got a budget to make sure that our solar projects can be distributed globally at a reasonable rate, reasonable price.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but Malta is where the ICO is being done. Your operations and the solar panels are not going to be out of Malta. This is where the ICO is.
Our token jurisdiction is Malta. Our main company, our holding company, is in Delaware. We also operate out of Johannesburg. All our dev team is in Joburg. I'm based in Cape Town.
And obviously Malta is because of the new laws that have a very good regulation and jurisdiction surety for cryptocurrency. In fact, just last week they passed on July 4th sweeping final laws that were set in practice, and there's a conference that some of the folks here are going to be presenting at Coin Agenda next on Sunday in Malta.
I'm looking forward to it.
Banking already for ICOs just last week.
I'm sorry?
They accepted banking for ICOs last week.
Okay, that's good news.
Yeah.
Yeah, as I said at the very start, I mean, our ultimate vision is this is going to be a solar bank.
Yeah.
You know, at the moment, our main market is this is an alternative to putting solar panels on the roof of your own home. Don't put them on the roof of your own home where they're going to be covered in cloud most of the year. Put them on a sunlit roof powering a mine in South Africa, getting higher yield, 4 times the carbon emissions saved than it would be in the UK. So that's our market. But ultimately, when we've got such a distributed, diverse pool of solar assets, actually it's better off putting your money in Sun Exchange than it is holding it in a bank.
Can you give some indication? So I put $100,000 worth of cryptocurrency into this. What sort of return?
Yeah, so the current solar project right now is for a plastics recycling factory in Cape Town. That's a 15% IRR at a P75, like 75% probability. Because don't forget the yields all coming from sunshine. So it depends on the solar variability, but that's why we put solar projects in South Africa where you've got very high solar resource. You know, you're talking double the sunlight in South Africa than here in the UK. That's why we put them there. And it's also a coal-fired grid. So, I mean, what Sun Exchange is becoming is also this hub of, like we already provide a Bitcoin wallet and a SolarCoin wallet and a SunX wallet. And people are using Sun Exchange. This is the first time they've ever used cryptocurrency. This is an on-ramp into crypto. 75% of our customers is the first time they've ever used cryptocurrency, but they need to receive Bitcoin because it's the only way we're sending the money around the world to the owners. So we can also put in a carbon credit module. So any of the carbon cryptocurrencies that you're familiar with, we could put a wallet onto the dashboard so customers can basically start collecting cryptos for any reward for owning clean energy assets. Because we have the evidence they own it.
Only Bitcoin or Ethereum as
Well, Bitcoin is the most liquid cryptocurrency, so we tie up with cryptocurrency exchanges in each jurisdiction where we work. So in South Africa, it's Luno. The number one most liquid cryptocurrency in South Africa is Bitcoin. So until Bitcoin is displaced as the most liquid currency, we're going to use it. Obviously, our ERC20 currency for SunX is on Ethereum, but the platform itself uses Bitcoin. And that's why we're working with Rootstock to enable sidechain scaling for the automated revenue distribution, where each solar project becomes a DAO. When we demoed this in Johannesburg a year and a half ago, actually each solar project is its own distributed autonomous organization that manages its own operation, maintenance, and payouts on the Bitcoin blockchain.
The staking you said is 20%.
Yeah, 20% return for the staking.
And then, but what you said that's for the insurance pool.
Right.
So
correct.
How does the claims work against that?
Okay, so yeah,
and the arbitration.
Thank you for asking for that. It's in detail in the white paper. So I'm not going to deflect and pop you off onto the white paper. But in a nutshell, it's a very specific type of insurance, which is in the event of a consumer lease default, it covers the cost of relocating the solar facility, which is actually going to be a rare-off occurrence. Now, in that event happening, we will draw down from that insurance fund. But bearing in mind that our solar projects are usually capped at around a megawatt, which is around $1 million, the actual exposure, the actual cost of relocating that solar facility is probably going to be maximum 10% of the capex of that project, which means the actual exposure to the insurance fund is actually quite minimal. But at least that is there to cover those costs in that eventuality.
So you put it with a business, the business goes out of business.
Exactly.
And you have to move it to...
Exactly,
okay.
exactly.
Cool.
That's the last missing piece of the jigsaw, but the insurance companies
What
weren't
happens
covering.
if there's a hailstorm and...
Well, they actually test solar panels with ball bearings fired at like 200 miles an hour because they obviously need to be designed for hailstorms.
Yeah.
They are very, very strong. Now, I think the biggest threat is consumer lease default. Really, I mean, if a ball bearing or a hailstorm hits a solar panel and it breaks, it's under a guarantee. The solar panel manufacturer guarantees that solar panel for 25 years.
Where's the okay? So let's just say that something happens and they're damaged. Where do the cost of having a tech go out there replace
each project has a maintenance reserve fund, so 10% of the income generated goes into the maintenance reserve with each ring-fenced legal entity for each project, and that's drawn down from to cover any maintenance costs that aren't covered from the guarantees and insurance. And the IRR I just described, that's net of the maintenance reserve and insurance.
Cool.
So what happens to the balance of the 10% that hasn't been used up because...
What, in the insurance fund?
No, in the maintenance fund.
What
happens to the balance of those
that'll
monies?
get distributed to the solar panel owners at the end of the lease.
For that particular people that have bought those particular solar panels on that project?
Yes. Yeah.
So quite obviously, quite simply, when the sun goes down, there's
Yeah.
no use for the solar panels.
Correct.
What storage facilities, energy storage units have you got in place in order for those issues which will arise?
Don't need them because the projects that we work with are already grid connected. So we're putting our solar projects on the customer's side of the meter. So they're using the solar power during the daytime, and at night time they're still using the grid.
So there's no form of curtailing at all in any part of these solar...
No curtailing, no batteries. It keeps the cost down. Also makes sure that, like, the systems can be installed instantly. They're already grid-tied systems. In the event of our off-grid system is a lead-acid battery bank.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who are you using for that?
That is Trojan.
Okay.
Trojan batteries. But say our solar panel installation partners, they do the procurement, we do all the checking. Just so my background's actually in solar project due diligence. I've been in Sonatry for 10 years. I used to work for DNVGL doing bankability checks on solar projects, so I know how to appraise and assess solar projects. So we're basically doing a banking grade solar project due diligence on every solar project that comes on our platform. Even a 20 kilowatt school has been vetted by solar engineers for all of these characteristics.
Well, I can certainly see a secondary market on the energy storage there, especially looking at case or hydrogen hub storages.
Yeah, definitely. And what's great about that is it can be retrofitted.
Yeah.
So you can come along later and put the storage facility in once the technology and the economics make it justifiable.
So in theory, are you saying that the solar panel and the energy exchange you're putting in place, could it work in partnership with an energy storage service as well? So you could have other contributors to that network?
Yes, you could, indeed. So especially in the microgrids, you could have households which are buying electricity during the daytime and they could be selling it to their neighbours. But that's where platforms like Power Ledger come into play. Because they're trading energy that already exists. What Sun Exchange exists for is getting that infrastructure to exist in the first place. Like, we're dealing with the deficit of energy. Energy trading platforms deal with the surplus. And that's if the energy grid operator gives them permission to trade and allow people to sell energy across wires. Because don't forget, whoever owns that wire can restrict and make it illegal for energy to be sold on them. So Eskom in South Africa would never allow anyone to trade energy peer-to-peer. It's totally against their principles. They've got the monopoly.
South Africa is subject to capital controls.
Yeah.
How does a offshore investor get their money out if they invested and bought one of these?
Bitcoin.
So Bitcoin is used for that,
Yeah.
and doesn't that break some kind of like South African?
No, South Africa's actually got the highest penetration rate of Bitcoin usage in the world per capita. Now, the exchange banks and the controls and stuff, they're working with the exchanges because they're actually demonstrating, and platforms like Sun Exchange exist actually the use case of this. Like, we're actually bringing direct foreign investment into South Africa, creating jobs, building clean energy infrastructure, and then paying out over very extended periods of time. So that's actually that's being held up as a flagship for actually the kind of innovation which the government is actually encouraging. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, up next we have the winner of the most creative name, Bigsby. And it's a part physical, part digital cryptocurrency wallet for children. Let's... No? Oh, I had...
I'm still plugged in.
Did I have... There was a change. Okay.
I can't like this.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at the one you gave me originally. So who's the next?
It's the same.
All right, so hello people. Nice to meet you. My name is Ben Harris. and I'm the CEO and the founder of Bilgos. So we have any sports fan in the room?
Yeah, can we move on?
Okay, so the best way to describe what Bilgos want to be is the first competition. You can see here, we have the World Cup on Sunday, so you can decide which one you think is going to be the World Cup winner. So if you choose one of the other team, so immediately it's going to the ads another prize for the other team. So it's basically the simple way to describe smart coin for people. So if you join to the pool and everybody is a sports fans and you want to collect the winnings and everything in a secure way and disturb and immediately what is will something happen in the real world, so you can use in our platform. So why we do it? Why we build the Bilgos for the world? Why we need another sports protocol in the world? So we coming from the 10 years serving users from the sports world and a few products, bonus products, also data products, fantasy, and betting. And the first needs that the market use, everybody using in multiply platforms. If you're using in my system or different system, you all the time need to log in, log out, moving funds from another system to another system, and to use to a different place. So we want to be the one wallet for all the system. When you use our system, you can move the funds. Even if you win, even if you lose, you can use the same funds to allocate for each game that you want or each activity that you want. The second thing, if you are, let's say, on the offline world, you're a high roller gambler, so every time that you come to the casino, you're a high roller, so everybody treat you like a high roller. But if you go in another casino that nobody know you, so you treat like a regular person. But if the casino know that you're a high roller, so you treat you like a high roller because you value for him. So in a regular world, in the fiat world, how can you see a very good example for this? If you using a credit card, see if you have black MasterCard, so everybody know that you're MasterCard, and it treat you like a MasterCard. And the gaming world, so if you use our system, so everybody know about your turnover, about your system, how value and how you rank for each betting house, in example. The other system is peer-to-peer betting. If I want to better odds for each other, I don't want to use the same line that you have on the field today, and I want to create a new one, a better challenge against friends, not against the house. How can I do it in this world without secure myself and the other friends and together? So we build very, very simple templates for smart contracts. You can predict any outcome that you want between you, friends, pool price, and combine everything together in a smart contract in 3 or 4 steps, and then immediately in using our system to collect, move, and be the winner for each one of them. The second part is the interest in our system is the option to be mining by knowledge. So if you are sports fans, you always think that you know better for all the other one in the room, and the way to complete this question is to do some bet on this, or beat your friend and some knowledge that you have on the sports field. So we creating, if you move into the next one. This is the mining system. So it's hard to predict what is going to be the outcome on one game. So it's a luck. You never know which team is going to be win, even if if you have better chance. But if you take 2 teams and you want to predict who is going to be to score the best goal on the field, so if you take, for example, Barcelona and Real Madrid, it's hard to predict who is going to be win. But if you choose Messi and Ronaldo, probably you get 2 goals in this game. So the purpose of this game is to collect the many goals that you can collect. How you can collect the goals? You choose 5 players, and the players is acting like portfolio. Each time in the real feed, when one of the players score a goal, you get a point. And the fun of this, you can change even if the middle of the game, you see somebody going in penalty and going to kick, you can choose the player, collect the goals, draft them, put another one, and then you continue. So you can see here is all the records for each gold that you collect for a different game, different leagues. If you go for each one of the games, you can see all the data of this game, which time exactly you choose them, which time you replace them. And then if you go up to the leaderboard, the best sports fan with the knowledge collects the prices of the leaderboard. What is the prices of the leaderboard? It's the same token to use the community to bet between each other, or using the moving digital assets between the community fans. So if you go up to the leaderboard, go up. Yeah, go to the leaderboard. On the other, yeah. So you can see who's going to be the first. If you choose one of them, you can see all the goals they collect in the middle of the time. You can follow him, and you can track his transaction. Each time he gets goals, you can see a notification. You can try to beat him. And you can track if you just press one of them. So you can follow, you can see all the tracks. If you go down, you can see when he catch the goal. So everything is logged. You can see all the data before. Nobody can say, I beat goals and everybody can see it. So you can see the exactly time and exactly hour and which player and which team he catch the goals. After this, the community make for himself all the betting that he wants. He can do, I want to bet against you, who's going to catch the most goals, who's going to be the first to score the goal, is going to be the first on the penalty, and everything else through our system back on beat goals. Yeah. So we started in the ICO in a side project on this World Cup, and we surprised how much the community and everybody else get involved with this. So we try and during the World Cup many different smart contracts, simple smart contracts for the people to predict and to put out his passion about sports, and then multiply simple ways, like who's going to be on the top 8, who's going to be the most scorer, who's going to be the first to kick out. So the community just voted on this, and we provide prices in the beginning, and after this we start into the pre-sale to be able to use the token like a master Giton. If you know Giton, this is the master Giton that everybody accepted. So we're surprised on this, and we starting to make the pre-sale. The people want to use it. We allocated in the beginning 55 million tokens. Until today we sold almost 40 million tokens in total. And we're coming to here to tell you about this.
Questions?
Yes.
Sports betting questions?
After this,
What are your jurisdictional risks, like where different countries have different perspectives on gambling?
So we licensed since 2012 in Malta, and we have license also from Gibraltar for betting. And the other states, we depends where it's regulation. We have games also, it's called skills game, like fantasy league, and just regular gaming that you cannot, it's not involved in betting, it's just skill, knowledge, no money in, no money out, money in for in-purchase. So it's not a matter if you want to buy a ticket, but you want to buy a ticket for the final, but you don't want to pay this much amount of money if you don't have the team that you want to play in the final. So how you can calculate it that between your friends? Everybody wants the final tickets, but how can I know that I'm willing to pay this amount of price if my team is not winning, if my team is not participating? So if you can combine everything this on a smart contract, so you know you're willing to bet price before this such amount of the ticket only if your team play.
Does the smart contract reference an oracle to know like which team won or which team failed?
You can go on different products that we have. It's called Sport Index. You can combine everything for the last 10 years. Each team who's going to be better, who's going to win, who's win on the last season, player against player. If you go on Sport Index.
What I was specifically asking is how does the smart contract know how's the smart contract getting the data of who wins and who loses?
We connect it with Opta and BetRadar and give us the feed immediately on the fields. And then smart content is what if outcome is happening with the data provider that we have, like Opta, SportRadar, and BetRadar.
Okay.
can put the movie up. No, 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 no,
This
no,
one?
no.
No?
The other one. Oh, no.
This one?
On the bottom, on the bottom. The other. The same.
On the bottom?
Yeah, 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 this one.
Okay.
BitGoals wants to build the ultimate solution together with a community of sports fans and gamers. The solution that will let us fulfill our passion for sports and games. Don't we deserve it? Reach a solution at one stop? One registration per activity? Use one secured wallet for all activities? Allow status comparison between activities? A universal and liquid reward for each activity. After 10 plus years of experience in the sports gaming industry and serving millions of passionate sports and gaming fans from 42 countries around the world, we bring you BitGoals. Using the latest technology of blockchain-based protocols, we have created a one-time registration system that comes with an innovative and secure wallet that allows payments and rewards with a global status. BitGoals launches a dedicated STP that will serve as the master token and allow a quick transition to all our favorite sports and gaming activities. Dedicated fans, let us unite the sports and gaming worlds as a unified and strong community that will be managed by a distributed network. We deserve to enjoy an improved experience, functionality, and get the treatment we deserve for our loyalty. Join now to stop the slow and cumbersome bureaucracy that makes it difficult for us fans and players to really do what we want. BitGoals, full passion.
So the token is built in a hybrid way. So when you play in a system, you don't pay gas transaction. You can do multiple transaction at the same time. Even if you have 50 million of users, all of them can do the same bet in the same time, and it's not going to be stuck. Only when it's go out of the system, it's back for the regular blockchain atmosphere, and then you can move it from different wallet to different wallet. So thank you for all your listening, and good luck for everybody.
Thank you, BitGoals. So with a sports metaphor, we're now down to our final four. And up next, with some massive pink branding, Bigsby.
Cool.
How many of you believe that financial education is something that is not taught in today around the world? And how many of you think that it should be, that it is an important aspect of education? Thank you very much. So, click it. Right. Let me get rid of this. So, okay, here we go. So my name is Filippo Jacob. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Bigsby. And what we're doing is we're reinventing the piggy bank for the 21st century. We fundamentally believe that the token economy is on its way in, and the use of physical cash is on its way out, and we need to find new, engaging and novel ways to allow families to connect around financial education, but most importantly to introduce money and money principles to children in new and engaging ways that are relevant to the world that they live in. And we do this using Bigsby, which, as I said, is a piggy wallet and not a piggy bank. More importantly, it's a system, a hardware, digital, hybrid piggy wallet. It's made up of 4 separate elements. The first one is the wallet token, which is a Swiss-based utility token that's designed to replace the physical 1Ps and 2P coins normally kept inside physical piggy banks. The second element in our system is an application. For adults, it's a multi-currency wallet, and for children, it's a Minecraft-like game where they can learn about financial education and about the concepts of modern money through gaming. If any of you are familiar with Roblox, for example, you would get an idea about how that works. The third aspect of it, which you can't really see very well on the screen, is this hardware device, which is we call it a piggy wallet, and it's Bigsby. In its pink variety. It serves as the controller for the game, but also as a notifier to take the game outside of the gaming environment. And John over there has a demo with a game that we can use and show you there, a working demo. But in its black variety, it's actually a cold storage wallet that is safe, that stores a variety of currencies inside of it, and so it's also marketed at parents. And then the fourth element of the project is this payment card, which allows not just the children to spend while in the real world with the supervision of their parents, but also the parents to spend the other currencies that they have in their own grown-up version of the wallet. You know, we affectionately call this the big business of tiny money. I've been in the early education sector for 5 years and built a successful company off the back of it. And we know that there are 400 million affluent families in Japan, in Korea, where I already have offices with another business, the UK, the EU, and the USA, and that spend on average $15 per week on pocket money. And what we're after is a very small portion of this market, which is 1 million families onboarded to our system by 2023. So a good place to start and explain why we're here, why we think we're the best people to solve this really complex problem, is to give you an idea of where we were last year when we began. So, you know, we were riding on a high at the end of 2017. The company that I built, Primo Toys, had reached $8 million in revenue that year, with just over $1 million in investment. We had introduced computer programming to over 1 million children in 180 plus countries, and I was fortunate enough to be named as in the Forbes 30 under 30 social entrepreneurship, heading the category for Europe. And I guess the team was sort of doing really well too, right? They were working on a really cool project. They were working on spacesuits for NASA. They were working at Apple. Matt Brown had spent 4 years working for Joni Ive in the experimental interface design division. We'd built payment systems for PayPal. We led transformation for Visa. We came from really cool places, and so did our advisors and investors. Investec, for example, is one of our investors through one of their funds. We have former JP Morgan MDs. We have the founder of Edu as well. We have the chief commercial officer of Ditto, which is a challenger bank in France. And we thought, well, I think it's safe to say that we live in a debt-driven society where financial education isn't taught enough, and too many young adults end up entering the world without understanding what financial responsibility is about. And because we know from our work with Primo Toys and the Kano computer that it's possible to teach very complex concepts to children really early on in their lives, we actually know from a study by the University of Cambridge that by the age of 7, children would have developed certain habits that are going to impact their financial choices for the rest of their lives. And so we thought to solve this issue with a new piggy wallet. But let's look at piggy banking. What is actually piggy banking? Piggy banking is the practice of introducing financial education to children through the dispensation of money in its smallest denominations, 1p's and 2p's, for incentives or rewards. It's not just 1p's and 2p's, it's also pounds. It's £2, £3. And the problem with current piggy banking with physical money is that, first of all, physical money is limited to physical interactions. This does not reflect the globalized family environment in which we live in today, where members of the same family unit may live in different countries or in different continents, for example. The second issue that we see with physical money is that at the moment, the current piggy banking paradigm is very limited. It's only about saving and spending. And we think that money is actually a lot more dynamic than this. There is also exchange, there is modeling, there is understanding money as money that you spend, money that you save, and money that you invest. And the third problem that we saw is that even though some digital piggy banking solutions exist, such as GoHenry, Osper, or DigiPiggy, which was a Credit Suisse product launched in Switzerland, is that they're rubbish. They charge really high fees. They don't allow for these microtransactions to happen cross-border and cross-country, so they don't cater to globalized families. And they fundamentally are not really providing a piggy banking experience. So what we sought to achieve is a hybrid solution that gets that sort of combines the best of both worlds: kinesthetic learning with a really beautiful piece of hardware designed by John Marshall, who's also the designer of the London 2012 Olympic torch, as well as probably some of the most transformative education technology products out there in the market today. And but that takes advantage of the convenience of digital gaming. And ultimately, the way that this system hangs all together is by recognizing the family as a microfinancing family network. In other words, every one of these piggies represents a child, and around this child will congregate a list of family members that can all take part in their financial education. And so the more units out there in the world, and the bigger those family networks around the device or the child, the stronger our token economy gets and the more demand there will be on Wallow. Ultimately, I think we've created something that really does create a genuine on-ramp into cryptocurrencies by a demographic that otherwise would have never thought about moving into the space by using education and child education as a sort of as a starting point. Now, a little bit about our token economics. I'll just give you some of the highlights, and we can maybe pick it apart with some of the questions that you might have at the end of the presentation. But we have 675 million tokens. We have fixed supply. The market cap at ICO is going to be at less than $10.5 million, which we think is a very positive thing. 70.3% of tokens are going out to the community. And because of and this is all thanks to the really long-term lockup systems that we have in place that are also tied to device sales. Our hard cap is 8.85 million. I think we just want enough funding to move this product into the public, and that's our goal for the moment, and to seed our technology. And our price per token is 12 cents per token. We're going to be running an ICO in September, and as for the revenue model, of course, we have the hardware sales. We sell the devices at 60% profit margins, but the majority of our revenue model actually comes from the spending and buying of Wallow through the card and through the exchanges and through the top-ups and through the in-app purchases inside the game. As a business model, we are 20% hardware and 80% software. We also have access, because of our other businesses, to over 10,000 wholesale and retail partners globally that already sell our products, like the Cubeto playset and the Kano computer. You recognize some of these names, which we already sell in through. And our goal is to move into APAC, Europe, the US as well, of course, and the UK, and to sell 1 million units by 2023, which is a number that we've already achieved with our other products. And so we know how to get to these 1 million customers. Something that's very interesting about our marketing model is that 200 million tokens are divided amongst the first 1 million units that we're going to sell. And so that means that, and these 200 Wallows are earnable. They're not just given for free. So they can activate network effects that increase and expand our community. But that also means that the first 1 million buyers are fundamentally buying a product with money inside of it. We have some great traction. We've already raised $1.6 million in pre-sales from pre-sales buyers. Only 500,000 of those have come from equity deals. We have over 26,000 Telegram community members that we've achieved through smart airdrops and bounty programs. And more importantly, I think that we have over 23,000 newsletter subscribers and over 20,000 whitelisted members to take part in ICO in September. We also have an MVP product. We're 1 month ahead of schedule setting up the supply chain and going into production, and we already have live demos working. I think something else that was really cool is that on the 7th of June, we won ICO race in Lugano, which was the biggest ICO competition to date in the world. We won $600,000 in investment. We also beat 160 other ICOs for our concept and our product, and I think because of our team, most importantly, some of which are here in the room, and I'd like to point them out at the end of the presentation. But we also won a guaranteed listing on Bitfinex, which is going to be the first exchange on which Wallow is going to be traded. What's on, what's good for you here in the room here with us today? We have tokens available at 25% discounts in pre-sales, and for a minimum of $100,000 in investment, we also provide with some units. So you can also help in the success of the project by sending them and distributing them amongst your own community of friends and family and professional community. So thank you very much. I'd like obviously to thank my team who are here, sitting over there, John, who's demoing the product somewhere, Adam and Gary, who also heads investor relations. And so you can also talk to them, follow the pig. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great presentation and branding, and questions.
Can you explain how the wallet works?
So this wallet serves, I guess, three purposes, right? So for a child, this becomes a remote, first of all, in which they can interact within the game. The second use of it is like a Wii remote, right? The second use of it is that it's a notifier. So I can receive notification of my balance, of receiving tokens or receiving coins from anywhere in the world without having to be glued to a screen or attached to the game. And the third use of it is as a cold storage wallet, which in its black variety that John has in his hands over there explaining is just a brilliantly designed cold storage wallet for adults.
So I've got 3 kids. So this could be like the way I pay them allowance?
That's correct. So
and then can I tie that to chores and other things?
That's the whole point of it, right? So you can give money within the game to your children in 3 different ways. You can do one-off payments, you, but also other family members that you allow into your network. You can give them one-off payments. You can set recurring allowances, and you can also send money for special occasions and sort of time. But you can also set chores that they can complete, and they can receive these chores, they complete them, and then you release the wallet.
And in terms of paying fiat, can they go to the store and use that to spend?
So we have a card, and I think a card becomes the universal symbol of spending in the real world, but they can also do it online. And we have, we work with exchanges, so when you actually go to spend your money in a shop with the card, for example, it'll exchange your wallet for fiat, and you can use the fiat to spend in the real world.
And I mean, the last thing, which is really hard, is the price fluctuations of the underlying asset. Like, how do you manage that for a kid? Because that would be one really hard concept for them to grasp. So I pay you, and am I giving you fiat, or am I giving you token, or what? So
what you do is, as a parent, you top up on Wallow, and you can then, let's say that you buy $50 worth of Wallow, because that's all you're going to need for the next 6 months, and you can send tiny little denominations here and there for chores or as recurring allowance. So in the game, so there's 3 ways that you can spend Wallow. In game for things that children want, so they'll want an update for their avatar, for their little pig inside the game. They will want to buy a new tool, etc. And the prices of these digital objects inside the game will adapt with market prices. So it doesn't become prohibitive as the price fluctuates. In the real world, of course, there's fluctuation. We think that we're going to reduce this anyhow by providing some Wallow with every one of the first 1 million purchases. But I think ultimately fluctuation is something that we're going to have to accept as a norm in cryptocurrencies. I personally don't believe in stable coins, but and so I think it is a valuable lesson to learn.
Interesting. Thank you.
And timing as well. With fluctuation comes timing and
how much is each one of those going to cost?
So for the pink one, it's going to be sub $100. At the moment, we are at $79 based on the bomb that we have, and the adult variety is going to be below $120. But we're pitched to compete against Ledger and the Trezors for the black device.
They're wireless?
Yep.
Where do you produce them?
We produce them in China, so we have a supply chain in Shenzhen where we already produced some of the other products that we have here with us, if you want to look at them. And it's we're now starting the process, but at the end of it, it becomes a fully scalable supply chain. And then there's a distribution network with, I guess, shipping nodes in in Chicago and in Tilburg. And the other thing that is worth mentioning is that we also have the support of our offices in Korea and Japan, in Tokyo.
So if the child is going to be the owner of this wallet, how are they going to get KYC through the thing?
She needs a mic.
Sorry.
KYC for children.
KYC for children, yes.
The adult is the owner of the wallet. The parent is the owner of the wallet. The parent gets KYC'd in the same way that it would with Tide Bank, for example. And KYC happens at the point in which a parent wants to either buy in more wallet or sell it and spend it through the card, and so will the other family members. And when the child is old enough, they inherit the wallet as the parent chooses. But the child is basically protected in a walled garden that is controlled by the parent. And so nothing within the game is something that the parent doesn't want in there. Nobody else can send it wallow other than those who the parent has approved to be family members that can sit within the microfinancing network.
So
I think
okay. Yeah, so games obviously an important part of your strategy, right?
Yeah.
Are you thinking that you guys will be the proprietary game developer? Are you going to open it up and let kids buy crypto kitties on it, or and the second part of that question is, where do you draw the line? Because young kids are okay with playing young kid games until they don't think they're young kids anymore, and then they want to go play Destiny or Call of Duty, or so. Like, are you going to have tie-ins to other game developers or Wax or any of these other gaming things out there, or is that openness not part of your strategy?
Of course, I mean, that's a huge part of the strategy, right? The way that we see it is that Wallow has a much longer lifespan than Bigsby does. Bigsby is the first product. It's how we introduced Wallow Token. It's how we build the business. And then we also allow different developers to come in. We also integrate Wallow inside other products. We have a couple of announcements that are going to happen later on in the year that are very exciting. But we want to allow other brands to also introduce and utilize Wallow within their system as well. All within this family tech realm that we have. And also we recognize that a child, as you said, as they grow up, so does their potential for liquidity, because an 8-year-old can earn and spend more money than a 6-year-old, and a 10-year-old more so than an 8-year-old. But they also want to do different things, and this is probably one of the reasons of why we designed this product to be like this, right? If you look at the DigiPiggy by Credit Suisse, it's a toy. It's like this round kind of chunky piggy sort of toy that a teenager's not going to carry that around and sort of utilize it in a shop, whereas this is a cult object designed by one of the world's foremost industrial designers here in London. And we think that this is going to become the symbol of piggy banking, or piggy walleting as we like to call it, around the world.
Hi, Filippo, great presentation. I love the concept. I'm now kind of feeling conflicted because it's a digi-piggy wallet. So it's for my children to save money,
Yep.
but you've got in-app purchases, which I hate. So that's one point. You mentioned how much you've raised. Your website says you've raised $6.1 million.
That's correct.
So is the website true, or the amount you said just now, which was 1.2?
Sorry, it was 6.1. That was my mistake.
Okay.
It's
And you only
6.1.
want to raise 8.8.
8.85, yeah.
So you only need 2.7 more.
We don't need that much more.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I wanted to maybe address the in-app purchase aspect of it. You don't have to engage into that. So the way that we're developing the entire system is so that the parent is fully in charge of what the child can see, what the child is exposed to, what the child can buy. Personally, I don't have a problem with in-app purchases because I think that it's things that matter to my child.
As an investor, I quite like it because it means that it's going to increase the value of the company.
No, as a
Hence me
parent.
saying I'm conflicted. I like the idea
Yeah.
that you're making money, but I don't want it to be at the expense of my daughter. So
I agree. So as a parent, some in-app purchases I like, some I don't. And I think it's all about giving that power to the parent to determine what that world looks like and not the child. So you're not just a...
Okay, so this is a
smart,
piggy bank, let's just say.
Piggy wallet.
Piggy wallet, piggy. So when I was
Trademark.
young, I used to have from Lloyds TSB, I put a pound in. I knew there was a pound in there,
Yeah.
all right? And I think we all have this when we're a little bit younger. So let's say I put 100 into that. My chart builds up and it's intrinsically linked to a cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
And then the market suddenly goes, don't like this, we're going to go into a bear market, and also it drops by 80%. My £1 now worth only 20p. So my poor daughter has now had £1 worth of my savings put into her account. Is actually now worth 80% less. So you are essentially, how would you hedge against that?
It's a very good question, right? So I think that we need to draw the distinction between a savings product and a financial.
So it's not a piggy bank, is it then?
It's a piggy wallet. But let me make this difference. There's savings product, where I would say, yeah, sure, go and save money for your child's college fund or education fund. And there's a financial education product, right? So what the token allows you to do is that with very few cents, even if it's fractions of tokens, it allows you to play and to learn while playing. So which you can do with very few tokens. And sorry, Adam's making gestures. Oh, there you go. But and so whether the price fluctuates or not, you'll still be able to access the same level of play and the same level of engagement and entertainment. And that's what the system is for. The system is not a hard savings product. If you want to save in crypto, save with something else. But if you want to play and you want to learn and you want children to get that value, this is for you.
I guess I would add that with a long tail of giving something to a child who's 5 or something, it certainly has been generationally where people would give 1 share of Coca-Cola. Now, obviously, that could drop 80% too, but it also could go up substantially more than a passbook savings account at 0.1% or whatever the interest rate is these days. And there's never been, now that we just came off of a 70%, 80% drop in crypto, there's never been 2 in a row. So the odds of the average crypto going down another 80% and staying there for the next 20 years essentially means that it's the death of crypto and it's just going away, period. And I think most of us in this room probably don't buy that. Anyway.
But think about it this way, right?
But that wasn't financial advice, right?
No, not financial advice. That was opinion.
How many of you are familiar with
I'm not giving financial advice on Coca-Cola either.
How many of you are familiar with a platform called Roblox? Or any game with in-app purchases, whether it's for teenagers or young adults or whether it's for really young children, once you receive that money and you've played with it, it's gone because you've just bought objects, knives and suits and whatever for your avatar that only exist there and that don't really go anywhere. And we spend money on those things for our kids. Well, we're suckers. We give our kids anything that they want, and to them that matters. So I think it's a fallacy to think that to them it matters how much their money is worth in terms of buying a bicycle in the real world or a football, because they're buying stuff that we don't comprehend. I don't understand why my child would want to buy some new boots for his, avatar on one of the games that he plays. But he does, and he saves money for that, and then he spends it, and that's it, and it lives there. So, it's all relative.
Just one remark from my side. I think it's very important that that children learn to lose. I would not protect my daughter. She could lose everything in that game, of course, only not in real life, because it's like an animal dying or so. It's just a part of real life, and I think a lot of parents overprotect their children, and unfortunately, the real world is different. It will be even tougher over the next years. So I think, well, that depends really on how much you give your daughter.
Okay, well, we're going to move along now, and we can discuss passbook savings versus crypto investing outside.
One more question?
One more? Okay.
2 more. Last 2.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
We're a few minutes over, but
Philip, just perhaps give you some thoughts on how to handle that as an objection.
Yeah.
Your opening statement was about educating children.
Yes.
I think there's a greater challenge educating us and the media. And if you actually look at what would happen if you actually took an international portfolio of equities and international bonds, and then actually put 49.5% in bonds, 49.5% in equities, and just 1% in Bitcoin over the last 5 years, and then every time it went up or down, increased or decreased it, you've got a 32% increase in your Sharpe ratio.
Okay.
which is really important. If you're not sure what a Sharpe ratio is, that's maybe one place to start, because it's what institutions look at, a risk-adjusted return. And that's why I think what you're doing is really, really interesting, because it's exposing people to that sort of information, which they don't talk about. But institutions and institutional money managers look at it all the time. Was it worth having that volatility, that up and down, the zig and zag, falling and rising? Have you been suitably compensated? And over the last 5 years, you have been.
So looking at the performance over a longer period of time.
Don't look at the number. Don't look at it's gone up by 10%. How has it gone up?
Okay.
Look at the volatility. Go back to your maths classes and look at bell-shaped curves, standard deviation returns. It's really, really relevant when it comes to non-correlated assets, which is what cryptocurrencies are, but most people aren't talking about it. But institutions, that's why they're getting into this space, because they realise it's not correlated to bonds, property, or equities. So it's a really important thing for us all to understand, because it's actually a big
Sharpe
reason.
ratio classes for 5-year-olds.
There
Last
you go.
question.
Thank you. Thank you. No? Same one?
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much for listening, and I hope you've all had a good afternoon.
Okay. Thank you, Bigsby. Good presentation. Okay, so we're getting near the end now, and next presenter is video-based dating and rewards for meeting people in real life. Super. Come on down, Super.
So good afternoon. I'm Jean-Baptiste Faure and the CEO of Super. I'm working into the dating industry from the past 20 years, and our business is to create many white label into different countries, where we get acquisition of different kind of people who are looking about dating services. So be indulgent today about my presentation, because I just did yesterday in a train from Paris. And our businesses was only based into creating white label, so different countries, France, Europe, and we never build a big label, a big brand, because it was totally different from our marketing. So when I started the business, it was in audio hotel services, and it was a shame. People doesn't want to say they are into the dating industry. And also me, it was a shame to say I'm working into this kind of services. But the evolution of mentality, now people doesn't have any problem to socialize into a dating website or social network at all. So the evolution of the mentality now, when you have to meet new friends, new companions, you are going to meet them online. We start online and then offline. So the problem in this industry it's many fake profile and inactive profile. So when you register into the website or a dating application, when you delete the application, you still register in this application. So you have many inactive profile. Also, the problem is you have old photography, old profile, and probably fake information about what you are looking for. So people can lie, can upload a good photo with an amount of filters. And that is the main problem, because when you meet people in real life, after you are very disappointed. So often you spend a lot of time, and after 2-3 days you meet them in real, and it's totally disappointed because you are not getting what you want to have. So, and one of the biggest problem too, is you don't have any control in your data. So we know now the social industry, the social platform earn a lot of money with your data. So for example, Facebook, and in the recent actuality, you can see many of these companies sell your data. And that, it's a big problem. So also a big problem, it's now it's not about the dating industry, but more in general, the industry in social network. It's many people are posting and reposting and have an amazing life in virtual, but don't really like and appreciate the life in real. So you think you are amazing friends who traveling a lot, who eating amazing food and going in a nice restaurant, but in fact the reality, it's people are very isolated, and they think there are many friends, many followers, but in reality there are nobody. So that it's also a very big problem. So the solution, what we think, and the idea came in our mind about our background too. So from these past 20 years, I work in the dating industry. I saw the evolution of the mentality, and we really think people start to be tired about spending a lot of time online in several different kind of social networks. So now it's Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram. You have many messaging services. So you spend a lot of time online. When you wake up, you open your phone, you check your Facebook, you check your Instagram, and you make everything according to the like, etc. And the people, so you spend a lot of time there. So the idea of Super is to bring back the people into the real life. So it's to give the opportunity to meet in real again. So for example, the idea of a Super, it's I just arrived in London yesterday and I have nothing to do. So the idea was maybe I would like to watch the football with someone. So I just open the app, you create an invitation, or you just look through the invitation already created. And so for example, for the idea, I create my invitation, so I explain exactly what I want to do. For example, I'm French, so I would like the Croatia win, so who want to join me to watch the football? So, and after I pose the phone in my pocket and I just wait 1 hour, 20 minutes, 2 hours. And when you come back with your phone, you see all the reply you get. For example, many guys who want to join me to watch the football. And I decide the one I want. And I decide, and I can be not 100%, but mainly 100% sure, this guy will be the guy with who I want to pass the night, for example, to watch the football. Because I saw the real empathy of a person. I see how he speaks. I see his real face with his real eyes, and that you can have in a socializing industry and a dating more focused. So the idea of Super, it's really to bring back the people into the real world by creating this video invitation. There is no text, there is no profile photo, so it's break the rules of actual industry, and that it's only possible with the video invitation. How people trust each other. So we decide to create a token, a non-fungible token that wire the blockchain into our system. It's each people will have a token and a reputation. So more you meet people in real life, more you are active in the application, more people see your video, more you get reply, more your reputation is high. So in fact, when you create an invitation and when you receive reply, you can see how the reputation is the person. So that the blockchain help us to have like a proof of existence. It doesn't exist into the blockchain. Many blockchain have already been done the proof of ID, proof of identity, but not the proof of existence. To have a proof of existence, you need to meet in real life, and more you meet people in real life, more you can prove this person is real. And that is the idea of Super 2. So the idea is instant video to meet people right now and to prove these people is real and to put this information into the blockchain. So that is, it's a sum up. So it's no silent match. For example, as you can have in Tinder, when you have a lot of match, you don't know with who you are going to talk. And if maybe probably nobody will reply you, maybe you will make a copy-paste message to 10 girls and just one will reply you. So here it's no silent match. When you reply to someone and when there is a match, you need to meet right now. So that is the main idea. It's 100% real. So many dating websites can propose this application because it's impossible to prove the reality if the person is real. But with video, you can lie. So it's secure about the technology. So as I told you about ERC 721, so we can prove this person is real. And more you meet people, more people can increase this reality and increase also your value. We call that digital DNA because it will follow you during all the steps of the application. So more you meet people, more you are active, more your digital DNA will increase and will have a value to get rewarding. So we have many ideas about rewarding people. The main one is to reward people when they meet in real. So it can be rewarding with token. Token we call SVP token. And also we can have a local partner where we can invite the people to meet. For example, when you meet in real, the phone kiss each other, and after you open your phone, and you can see, for example, in Starbucks in 200 meters, they offer you a coffee. So it's a kind of safe place to meet and to drink a coffee. And it's friendly because it's not only a dating app, so you can meet for dating, but you can meet for many reasons. For example, to make sports, to walk with your dog, to go in a cinema. So it's not only for the people alone. It's really for the people who are traveling, who want to meet someone, and to increase our social network. So about the name, we call that it's a small mistake, but it's a social video platform engaging for real. So the V of the video, and we believe this app, it's really super. That's why we call the name, we give the name of super. So I give the end at Laura for the token sale at Andre.
Okay. Thank you, Jean-Baptiste. So, first of all, good afternoon. My name is Andre Van Robin. I'm the Chief Strategy Officer for Super. I just wanted to give a quick background as to why I'm here, because 6 months ago, René Carrillo, co-founder of Super, and Jean-Baptiste approached me with this idea, and they had for more than 20 years been working in the dating industry, and their existing business has more than 40 million users, and they have been generating more than 22 million euros in revenue. So they have developed expertise in traffic acquisition, expertise in social networks and dating. And then based on that, in terms of the blockchain, the two ideas, the two main focuses that they had was the ERC 721 in order to create that digital DNA, in order to create that unique signature, that real life relationship coming out of an online relationship. And then from the tokenization perspective, ERC 20, to be able to reward users for engaging on the platform, for using the platform. Contrary to Facebook, contrary to all the other social networks that are generating revenues on your data, the tokenization of Super is meant to be able to reward usage and to allow users to earn their tokens and earn their revenues on the platform. So the purpose behind the whole project is basically to provide a value proposition based on two axes of blockchain. The blockchain for the digital DNA, to provide security, to provide uniqueness, to provide reality to the online world, bringing it offline, and take people out of isolation. And then, of course, the tokenization model in order to allow people to monetize. The more they use the application, the more they can earn. The team is more than 25 people in the company. As you can see here, experts in technology, experts in marketing, experts in dating, experts in social networks. And of course, we have been engaging with reputable advisors who are so accustomed to talking to ICOs, and we have explained to them the project, and we are very fortunate to be able to work with them because they have chosen to help us, each of them in their own level of expertise. So we're in the process of raising 35 million euros. The purpose behind this is to dominate our field. The soft cap of 3 million euros is meant to finalize the product and dominate one geography. The total amount is to be able to dominate globally the concept of instant video social networking. And the ICO itself is going to, the pre-ICO is going to start on August 28th. The ICO will start in September, and we're allocating 1 billion tokens, of which 55% will be for the pre-ICO and the ICO. 15% will be for the private sale. We are trying to raise, within the context of the private sale, 9 million euros. Each token is valued at 6 cents. And we are providing bonuses of 55% for the private sale and up to 30% within the context of the pre-ICO. And the whole purpose behind the whole project, once again, is to be able to dominate the industry that we consider as the industry of instant video social networking. I'm going to leave the floor now for questions and comments, because we appreciate very much all the feedback we can get, and we hope that we can provide you with the most resounding answers. Thank you.
Questions for the team? Please take the microphone.
I was wondering, is there a similar competitor type where they use video type of interface, or no?
No, technically, no. Actually, only instant video. It's you can find in Facebook or in Instagram, and just it's around your friend. It's not to make a new like dating app to know new people. That is quite new. I mean, you can find some instant video everywhere now because it's very trendy. And from the past 3 years, the adoption with the new generation is very large. And now into the dating industry, they don't have any competitor.
And what was your previous company that you did?
We did very classical website. The audience is totally different from this kind of audience, but we want to put our audience, it's 40 million of users around Europe, all Europe, and we want to catch this user to put in this application at first when we will launch the application.
Right, but what was the name of your company, your previous?
Niatran.
It's a Spanish.
Paper, which is public. It's been published last week.
Yes, it's a Spanish company, and we own the many white label website, but it's totally different kind of categories.
Just a little bit about what your projections are for the future. I mean, I'm a big advocate of all this. I met my wife on Match.com, so trust me, I'm a big fan of dating apps and sites. So once you've raised the funds you need, can you just talk me through what you're going to be using those funds for, and give me your 5-year plan? You know, are you looking to then move this out of an ICO and then look at a buyback period? Are you looking to burn your tokens? You know, how are you going to create that level of liquidity within the marketplace? How are you going to increase the value of those tokens? And what exchanges are you going to use them on as well? Sorry, I'll just give you five questions there, but
no worries. No worries. So to answer the last question and work my way back, we expect to be on an exchange and various exchanges by the time the ICO is completed. In terms of the value creation, there are two main drivers. Obviously, the standard one and systemic driver is we have a burning plan over the course of 3 years. But most importantly is the usage of the platform is meant to be driven by the token acquisition for features, for characteristics. The more users use the platform, the more tokens they will require. The more tokens they will require, the less supply you will have. The less supply you will have, the more value you will generate. So that is the underlying driver behind that. In terms of what the 35 million is for, it's a grand majority for marketing in order to not only do user acquisition, but to constantly dominate the sector and prepare ourselves for, obviously, the reaction that we are expecting from the likes of Facebook, the likes of all the existing incumbents in the social networking area. Yeah.
So one last thing. How are you going to patent this? I mean, how are you going to create sort of copyrights so that Match doesn't turn around and go, well, they're making a success of this, we're going to do this on our platform to our millions of... what's going to preclude their barriers to entry?
Comment allons-nous breveter la plateforme et quelle serait notre défense contre l'entrée de Facebook et de tous les concurrents?
But the idea is to be the first one to use this platform. Nobody used this kind of platform of ID, so it was we were scared about this, you know, to propose to show everybody these IDs, because we really believe. I'm not like I'm not very good to pitch in front of investor, but I'm very good into the product. It's my main goal. So I did that from the past 20 years. I know exactly profiling the user. I know monetizing the user. We have a good expertise in that. And my partner, it's more in traffic management. So we know how to acquire a big amount of user. It was not. During the past 5 years, we never did this kind of application because we need a very big amount of money. You need to raise a lot of money to be the first one in the market and immediately. So the idea, if we got a very good success, and we will have a very good success, it will be the first one. And we can be the first one between Tinder, etc. Because this kind of application, it's kill, you know, the social isolation. And now the big problem, I think, if everybody have kids here, it's you can see your kids in front of a screen all the day by video game, social network application. And this kind of application will kill these things. It's you bring back into the real world. So don't stay in front of your screen. Meet people who are very good reputation, because we can provide that with a blockchain, and meet people in real life. So after the launching of this application, we already make more social tools inside the app. For example, we can propose group meeting. For example, if you are a fan of someone, we propose to involve the influencer, to propose that the influencer, to meet the people, the fan into the real world, to organize events, to earn money with this application too, because it's one of the main things. We think social network earn a lot of money in the back of the people. So we believe with the blockchain we can change the rules. And that's why I think it's a very good combination about real world again, so come back to the real world again, and to earn money with this application by socializing people. So that is the idea, the key ideas.
In 1993, there was in the New York Times, so I believe the New Yorker, there was a comic design of a dog sitting in front of a computer with the other dog looking at him, and him saying, "Don't worry, nobody knows I'm a dog." In 2018, not only is that still true, but it's even getting worse because of AI. The more AI you have, the more artificial the relationships are going to be, the more isolated real human beings are going to be. So having the application that allows you to authenticate real human beings and bring them out of that into the real world is, we think, the actual innovative aspect behind all of this, and the main driver behind the success that we anticipate to have.
And just to finish, it's just a continuity, sorry. When I started the business, it was only audio-tel system, so people doesn't see each other. After, it was like creating a profile. And I believe in the future, we don't have to create a profile. Because, for example, in our application, you are active, you are visible by the other community when you want to make something. Why people are in Tinder, for example, are visible all the time, you know? Because you want to make something right now, but maybe not tomorrow, because you are very spontaneous, and tomorrow you are not visible by the community. So your profile, because we don't have casual profile, but your activity is visible only if you want to make an activity. So in tomorrow, for example, I come back in Paris, I don't want to make any activity, my profile is not visible. So you see people who want to make and to meet in real life. That is the key of the application.
So my question was about, I have 2 daughters, so my question is about security.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
No, that's why about the reputation about the blockchain. When people meet in real, they can approve this person is real and is very, he have this kind of attribute. I think Laura can explain a little bit more about this.
Yeah, I totally understand your question. As a woman, I use app to meet people professionally, or just, today to have a coffee with someone. And what you really want to be sure is that you won't be meeting some kind of weird person that you don't know who the person is, or, something like that. And you, with your daughter, I totally get that. And what we wanted to do, and that's why we implement the digital DNA, is to be 100% sure that the person that you're going to meet is real, for sure, and that the entire community validate this person.
And in addition to what Laura said, the platform in of itself anticipates through partnerships providing meeting places. So, for example, having partnerships with Starbucks, having partnerships with any other entity, and the option of meeting in a partnered location will be offered. Obviously, it's optional, but for anybody who is concerned about their security in terms of the first meeting, that is an option for that. And then again, the ERC 721 Ethereum is meant to accumulate the scoring of real people and the endorsement of real people. And over time, the more you meet, the higher you're scored, the more authentic you are, the more security you are providing for offline meeting.
So I have a two-part question. One, it's not profile based, and I agree with you that the immediacy is big. Until it was shut down, Craigslist was actually the world's largest dating site. It got shut down because of a new law under the Trump administration that if you're facilitating prostitution, it seems to apparently overrun the Digital Millennium Act, and they can go after you personally. And so even though there was no revenue, it's just a big traffic driver for Craigslist, they shut it down. Not just the adult part, but the entire dating part they shut down. So I guess one question would be, how do you prevent, prostitutes and escorts and pornography from getting on your site? And number two, what is your anticipated cost per video? Because you have to use the tokens in euros. Is it $1? Is it €1? Is it 10 euros? Is it a tenth of a euro?
Okay, so to answer the second part of the question first, our projected cost is €1 per token. That is more or less what we're estimating. Obviously, upon launching, supply and demand will dictate if that is the correct pricing model. And with respect to
So what per video? Is it one token then?
Oh, in terms of
if I'm putting a video out saying, "Hey, I want to meet somebody for the game," or I want to meet a new girlfriend. My wife would be interested in that one, but okay. What would it cost me?
Super App is free. Joining is free. Using video is free. Eventually, for example, as Jean-Baptiste referred to earlier, if you want to keep your video on longer, then you would have to pay for that. If you want to project a meeting in the future, you would have to pay for that. But using Super App would be free in the original conception of what it is, instant videos.
How much for a meeting or for keeping it on board? Is it? Because that sounds like it's more like kind of the Russian brides model.
No, not exactly. In fact, everything is free in the app. Just if you want to give a chance, to give higher chance to meet someone, so you have to pay. Just for example, tomorrow I want to announce myself in Paris, so I have to locate myself in Paris. So that is a paid function.
But how much?
It's depend how much token, but we think to make a subscription, we englobe a lot of functionality. For example, this one. We have also, for example, if someone is very popular, but you want to be the first video will be read, so you have to pay too. It's an option. It's like to make the match more possible.
But how much?
Are you referring to the pricing
price,
table?
Yes.
Oh, that is still work underway. On our white paper, we do describe the whole process of the features and characteristics. We do not have a specific pricing table for those feature sets yet. That's why we've set it at €1 per token, and then eventually we're going to see how the market reacts to that.
Yes, no, and our business model is based into subscription. So I think we will, in my actual business, so I think we will put this business into subscription too, because a lot of people forget to unsubscribe. It's not like it's because they forget, they just subscribe, and it's not easy to unsubscribe with Apple Store. You have to go in iTunes, cancel your subscription.
But that's because it's credit card based. Here you have to continue to
No,
put
but you
tokens
subscribe into an amount of token. So in fact, everything is with token. In fact, when you subscribe for an amount of tokens. That's why the token will be very high.
But you're not going to be able to take the tokens out automatically every month. There's no wallets to do that.
It's just an exchange, automatic exchange. When someone buy a subscription, we give a token and he give back. In fact, it's just an exchange between tokens and fiat. That's why we created the reserve.
So I'm sorry. So you're still taking it from fiat then, from credit cards.
Yeah.
Then why do you need the token?
No.
The credit card is to acquire the tokens.
It's to acquire the
Usage of
token.
the tokens is the only way to use
But
the
will
platform.
most people buy it on the exchanges?
They could buy it either on the exchange or they can buy it on the platform.
Yeah.
Both ways would buy it. It's market driven.
When they took a subscription, they just buy the token to buy the subscription. But they buy from fiat into token.
100% token usage. There is no other way to use the platform other than using SVP tokens.
Okay.
To answer the other question, very important one. Through the blockchain, the model would be basically if you have, as was said, prostitution or illicit activity, obviously in the real world that person would label and obviously indicate that that is the type of activity that would be stuck in the ledger and that would follow that profile everywhere. So obviously that is a mechanism to prevent that from happening, and obviously that's how we would avoid that problem. Trump.
There is two ways to moderate. We have a team 24-hour in Mauritius Island who is managing, the support and the moderation, and it's also the community themselves. They can report, user.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so 2 to go here, and do not leave because we got some of the best stuff coming up, and everybody get your energy levels up because we're going to talk to Sports Fix, and Carl, the founder and CEO, will definitely, you'll not need coffee when he explains his business model to you. So, Carl, are you mic'd up here, or are you just getting mic'd? Okay. Everybody's breaking amongst themselves, but Carl, Sports Fix.
Do we have a clicker?
Did somebody steal the clicker?
The dating guys stole the clicker?
Here it is. Here it is.
Oh, wonderful.
Here you go.
Thank you very much. Let me see, what's the best position? Probably here. Right. Good afternoon. My name is Karl Kirchhoff. I'm the co-founder and CEO of a company called Sports Fix. No, we're not fixing sports games. We actually tackling real problems in sports. So sports is dominated right now through traditional television, and traditional television tells us right now what to watch, when to watch, and how much to pay. And in fact, that's very relevant for all of us of our age, but even more relevant for the young generation, which is actually cord shavers, cord cutters, and cord nevers. So what we have built is based on the following problems, an ecosystem which tackles most of those problems. One problem is it's a lack of transparency. We have many middlemen, and they are incentivized actually to disguise and not tell really the value of the content which has been distributed through all the platforms to the fans. We have a lot of middlemen markup, the broadcasters markup, the agents markup, as well as the packaging which is done by the cable companies. So you end up paying much more money than you actually should. I think we all know this problem. The next one is it's a centralized system where leagues have the rights of the clubs to sell the live games to the clubs directly and centrally. And the clubs actually have nothing to do, and they cannot reach the fans unless they have the opportunity to go through the traditional television model, which, as we all know, is broken. Last but not least, we have the fan, which is in fact very much in the very least position, and it should be in the top position because it should be fan-powered. The fan is who actually pays. So there is millions of people who do not have access to stadia, Why the physical stadia? Via you have the opportunity not to go to a physical stadium, or you don't have the money and anything else. And then last but not least, there is no direct fan engagement between the rights holders, the leagues, the clubs, and the fans, because there's so many middlemen, including Facebook and Twitter and anything else, leveraging the user data for their business and not for any other businesses. So SportsFix was inaugurated in February 2017, and we started our business, launched our business based on the premises of we acquired sports rights, we stream it through telco companies direct to the fan. And since then, we were able to sign up 7 regional and local mobile network operators and a couple of retailers and wholesalers, and creating our own streaming infrastructure in Malaysia and Indonesia, reaching around 300 million people right now. In the next couple of weeks, we will be launching our services in Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, and Singapore. Many of those countries are determined by underbanked and no credit card penetration. So what we have seen here is a huge opportunity for us to leverage blockchain technology, put it on ERC20 to start with, and create an ecosystem which is A, fully transparent, and B, it is a decentralized system, which we call the digital stadium economy. So we create now a digital stadia where fans can actually vote and pledge for content, which we then finally acquire based on the user feedback. And at the end, the fan will end up watching exactly the content which they really want, not like the bundling, packaging of all the traditional television stations. What we're creating based on gamification, based on loyalty, rewards programs, and everything else around our token economy is a self-contained system where fans decide what to watch, when to watch, and how much they actually pay. To simulate this is we create a tiered stadium economy where you start with bronze, and the more SportsFix token you collect, the higher you're going to raise inside of this tiered stadium system. And the higher you come, the more product features you can unlock. So to start with, you have, for example, bronze. You can only live stream and you can watch it. If you raise in silver, in gold, or platinum, you can unlock more features like time shifting, like DVR, like crowdsourced commentary, which we have seen from Sportscaster early on. We have all this functionality already in our platform. Our premium partner is AWS and Elemental. We've been streaming this now for many, many years. We streamed already 1,000 live events. And what we're creating actually is the Superfan Stadium, where we recombine the rights from the clubs, which they already have, with the rights from the leagues, and create the ultimate fan experience, which doesn't exist yet. You pay 80 pounds probably right now in the UK if you want to watch, if you want to follow your team, which is like Man United or Arsenal, because you have to pay for Sky and you have to pay for BT. What we're creating is the ultimate usage model based on SportsFix token. And the whole circulation is you pledge tokens, you can either get a game day pass or you can pledge tokens for the season pass. And then what we have established here is our acceleration program. We hand over a certain number of tokens to the clubs, which they push as game day passes to the fans. The fans enjoy a free game and are automatically in our ecosystem. Then we create another model on the sponsorship model, because sponsors right now pay about $30 million to sponsor a brick and mortar stadium. Based on data analytics, based on machine learning technology and artificial intelligence, those guys will get a dashboard. We call it digital marketing agency, digital stadium marketing engine, actually. And those guys buy tokens on exchanges. And then you, fan, will end up either coming through the telco business and you pay 100%, or you come through our ecosystem through SportsFix token and you pay less because we take all the margin out of this ecosystem already. And if you're willing to engage with a sponsor or a club and you do something and you create content, for example, you will end up paying nothing because they subsidize and they subsidize the content. What everyone is talking about, of course, is very important for investors. We create a system where the token demand and supply is kind of spurred by those concepts. So we hand over, of course, game day passes to fans. We have set aside a certain number of SF tokens. We hand over tokens to clubs. And then later, the sponsors and even advertisers will be able to acquire SportsFix token to pledge them into our ecosystem. And as you can imagine, we have thousands of local advertisers in all those territories, in Indonesia and Philippines and you name it. And everyone would love to engage with those fans. We have a great team. Marcus, myself, have been in sports business for 25 years. I was fortunate enough to help building UEFA Champions League and then build my own streaming company in the United States called Eversport. We streamed about 10,000 live events flawlessly with actually 15 people. And that's the team we have right now with SportsFix as well. Marcus Lua built one of the largest sports marketing agencies in Southeast Asia, has all the contacts and 23 years experience in this region. We have a great team. I was able to hire a few guys from Silicon Valley, from Rocket Internet, from Google. They're all experts in conversion. We have a great lineup of advisors, including Michael Turpin. And then last but not least, on the sports side, Michael Payne is actually the founder and inventor of the IOC sponsorship program. And Phil Lyons, another advisor, who was responsible for selling the English Premier League rights for billions of dollars in the last 12 years. A little bit about our funding. We started our private pre-sale about 2 weeks ago, just on the back of winning Coin Agenda in Singapore, and has been doing well so far. We offer 50% right now discount, so the token price will be publicly on 10 cents. Right now it's 5 cents. We will be raising $37 million, mainly to acquire more sports content, to acquire more sports content in other territories. We already have content. We have 16 rights holder partners, which we're working already with, including Chinese Super League, Thai League, Korean League, and other leagues, and Badminton World Federation. We will be acquiring more content, and we will be acquiring more premium content. And then we will be launching our services not only in Southeast Asia, but even in China by the end of the year. Thank you very much for your attention.
So questions for Carl, SportsFix.
So the only content that you can have on the network will be the ones you can buy the rights for?
Yes. But it will be also user-generated content. But at the end, the content which really counts is the one which we acquire.
Okay, so like something like the NFL or Major League Baseball, or
if you're an American, yes, but there's very few people. Everyone loves football or soccer, as we American call it, and we have already 6 leagues. So we are acquiring more and more leagues and more content relevant for Southeast Asia, relevant for China.
Okay.
Which leagues do you have?
We have 6 leagues: Chinese Super League, Chinese Basketball League. We have Thai Football League, Korean Football League, Indonesian Football League. We have the Badminton World Federation. We have Muay Thai. We have Glory Kickboxing, and you name it. We streamed already 1,000 events last year.
Carl, you said that people can choose what they want to watch. Got it. But they choose how much they're going to pay for it. Did you?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So we created an ultimate usage model, and there was one slide which shows this clearly. So you pledge tokens as a digital season pass holder, and then we create the usage model where we check after 2 weeks or 2 months how much you actually watched, and we're going to give you tokens back, which you can repledge then again. So we create the ultimate usage model, and then based on AI and ML, so artificial intelligence, personalization recommendation engine, we can create highlights, live stream, anything else, so personalized, so contextualized, and so localized, which never existed before.
I can have the mic.
Sorry, Mark.
Sorry.
Thank you, Carl. So, speaking, I know you're focused a lot in Asia, right? There was a Chinese company called Le Echo.
Yes.
That apparently, I think, didn't they lock up the Premier League rights in China?
Yes, they lost
right.
all
so
those rights.
That's gone. So what happened with that? Is that something that's coming to you guys?
I cannot reveal it, but you're on the right track.
Okay.
Other questions? If not, we will move on. I think you answered everyone's questions.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And Carl had mentioned that he won first place at Coin Agenda in Singapore last month, we have a first place award here too. There's judges, and we'll be announcing that at the cocktail party. And there's one more presentation left, and then you get to stick around and eat, drink, and be merry, and listen to see who our big winner is today. So our final presentation, final of the 12. Comes to us from Barcelona, and so again, continuing theme here: large core user base, established company, Nostrum, public company in Spain, and there'll be two tokens you're talking about in this presentation. So there's the meal token, and then a crypto franchise token, and we will get the presentation here. Haven't seen the new presentation. And there we go, crypto franchise.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kirill Salomon. I am the president of Home Meal Replacement. Home Meal Replacement is a public listed company in Spain, Madrid, that runs 130 restaurants across Spain and France. And I will explain all of you a big opportunity, a new nice usage of blockchain. But also I am the last one, I expect that there is still money in this room because this project needs a lot of money. And I will be very pleased of sharing with all of you my project, and that you can participate of this new nice experience, new nice project that I am setting up. That is the new business that I am running. And this new business, first of all, I will explain you how I reached this new idea and new business. This idea came, we need to go back 20 years before now. We sold a business with my father that we have it, and was a business that maybe a lot of you here in UK, you have bought it, products that we have produced. We produce bleach and detergents for white label for the supermarkets all around Europe, also UK. And we sold this company to BP, to British Petroleum, and British Petroleum has done a buyout and has built a company that is listed, that is McBride, is in the FTSE exchange today. We sold this business with my father. Was a business with margins, very tight margins. We know how to produce with very tight margins. But when we sold this business, we don't know to play golf. We don't like to play golf. And then we said, what do we do now? And my father, that has a clear vision of businesses, and told me, we need to do something about food. In the future, the people will not cook anymore. We need to go there. And our experience in the retail industry, in the supermarkets industry, tell us that is a good place to be. And we set up a new business. That is the business today that I am running. That is Nostrum. Nostrum is a restaurant business, and you can see that today this future has happened, because that is 3 months old, is a post in Instagram, the people saying, a woman saying, I am looking for an apartment without kitchen because I have Nostrum. I do not need the kitchen. That's real, it's posted real on the Instagram as in Barcelona. That is what is happening, this vision 20 years before, and we are running now this business. Nostrum is a business about restaurants, but it's a business with a lot of technology from the first day. It's a business that is thinking always, when it has been born 20 years ago, is thinking on the future and to lead a revolution that is today in the food industry. It's not only blockchain that is a revolution, guys. Also the food is changing. The way that people is eating and new habits in this industry is changing and evolving. Also, Nostrum is a franchise, has developed in a franchise industry. Is a franchise model, Nostrum. And we have learned a lot about retail and franchise during these last years. This business, Nostrum, is about technology. We say more bits and more bytes and less preservative and colorants. Okay, and is a business about that is data driven. All in the future, we will see that we will go to the restaurant and there will be apps that will help us what we need to eat, what is convenient for us. All that is data driven. Also, in Nostrum, for example, to take an idea of this technology that we are using, we set it up, we make it this, we presented in the last mobile congress in Barcelona this year, a system where you can buy, take what you want from the shelf, go to a table, and with artificial vision, you are billed, and you pay with your phone in your pocket, you are recognized, and you make sum up, and it's billed in your phone. That is an application that is now will be applied in Nostrum. That is that you have an idea what is this restaurant industry about. It's not only restaurant, it's technology that we are applying in the quick service restaurant industry. All that and the knowledge about franchise and the knowledge also about finance, because we are a public listed company and we know how to deal with investors and how to be compliant with all the regulations. And we go to the franchise opportunity. This is the franchise opportunity. We see only in UK, 900 brands, 44,000 outlets, 15 billion of turnover, 46% of growth the last 10 years. This growth is continuing. It's a double-digit growth business that we are on it. And it's all around the world. It's worldwide. It's not only in UK. It's not only in America. It's worldwide. Sure that all of you this week you have bought something in a franchise. Sure, I'm pretty sure. Nobody from here. All of us, we have bought something. We have had a relationship with a franchise business this week. It's about that we are setting up a new platform that is the crypto franchise system. This system will solve problems that has the franchise. The franchise is relationship between franchisor and franchisee, and these relationships always are difficult. The first thing that we will use is the ledger of the blockchain to notarize the relationships between two. And that will solve and make transparency between the franchisor and franchisee. It's a problem that solves very well the blockchain, and no other technologies can solve so easily than solve the blockchain. Also, and that is a very important part to share with you, because it's a disrupting system of the way of franchising. We say that the blockchain builds community, that a lot of ICOs is telling that building community because blockchain builds community. Okay, franchise business is about community. It's a community of franchisors that has confidence to a brand. The way that we are building this community is the following. That usually the brands, to have an outlet franchisee, you pay to the brand an entrance fee. You pay to them. For example, in the case of Nostrum, you pay 30,000 euros to have a restaurant. Instead of doing that, now you will go to the marketplace, you will buy 30,000 euros of tokens, and as franchisee, you will keep these tokens in your wallet during the life of your contract. What happens with that? That you have a community of franchisees that all have tokens in their wallets. Well, hold it during the life of contract. These tokens are not in the market. It's very clear what will happen with the tokens are on the market. Will have the price. But what is more important than that is that the guys that has the tokens in the pocket, if the brand is doing well and is opening a lot of outlets, what is happening is that the brand is sharing the value with the franchisees of this success. And that happens for first time in a so easy way of keeping tokens in the pocket. There is no other solution so easy to share the brand, to share the value, the brand with the franchisees. And that makes and solve the clear problem of the franchisees, that is the alignment between the brand and the franchisees. Usually this industry, the big problem is the lack of alignment between franchisees and brand. And this solution of community building solutions the biggest problem that has the franchise industry in a very, very easy way. The loyalty part. We see a lot of loyalty ICOs, and okay, this one is not about loyalty. It's about franchise. The loyalty is one leg of that. And what happens? That we have the leg of franchise, but we have the leg of loyalty. And this leg is giving value to all the community, is building value to all the perimeter. We have, for example, in Nostrum, the franchise, we have 800,000 fans in our club. These fans, nowadays, buys with an app. What we will do from September, October, is buying with tokens. These guys, as an Oyster card here in London for the subway, they will pre-charge the card with tokens, and they will buy food with tokens, and they will have a special price if they buy with tokens. That is the part of loyalty. We can have different solutions for loyalty. This is the Nostrum solution for loyalty. There is other solutions, coupons, and other ways of doing loyalty. What is more important is that the token used for loyalty is a very powerful tool, because when you give a token to a person, you are giving a program, you are giving intelligence, and this intelligence is going in both sides and can produce very interesting experiences between the consumer and the franchisee. We'll have geomarketing in the token, but we have also gamification. That's a real case in Nostrum, that your telephone, when you are buying and you are paying, becomes a jackpot automatically if the jackpot promotion is on. Is triggered by the moment that you are paying, and your phone is a jackpot. And if you win something, you are paid in this moment in tokens, in the case that the tokens are alive. That is will be built in a platform that is a layer over the blockchain. Is a business layer, also technological layer, but is agnostic about blockchains. Blockchain agnostic will be possible to plug different blockchains to this layer. Why that? Because we will give to the customer the possibility to have a blockchain that we will run, a platform that we will run, but if the customer has their own blockchain, his blockchain will be plugged to this hub. We are agnostic about the type of blockchains, and this is a business layer where the things happen. What we are building is this business layer over the blockchain. What can happen in this layer? You imagine that Nostrum is this brand. Nostrum is on the layer, has a central DEX where the token can be exchanged with the tokens of other brands. This is the crypto franchise and another brand there. Nostrum, for example, MIL token will be an ICO about our token, but we can have another brand that has enough cash, but he wants to make the crypto franchise and wants the loyalty part and joins this hub with no necessity of having an ICO. But both brands share the hub, and the brands can exchange the token in the DEX. Imagine that the consumer in the wallet has tokens from the A brand, from the B brand, from the C brand. These tokens you can use in every brand if the brands wants to share these tokens with the other brands. Let's say that brand A wants to share with brand C this token can be exchanged with these brands. But imagine that is happening here in UK, that Tesco, if you have points of Tesco, you use these points in the Eurotunnel, and it's worth 4 times, because it's paid by Eurotunnel, 4 times the points of Tesco to use the Eurotunnel. That can happen here. You can use the token of A brand to buy in B brand, and it's worth 4 times there in the B brand. We can have a brand that has no crypto franchise, but can have only loyalty part, and can be also in the hub and in the crypto franchise system. Behind that is not only my vision and my new business, is a big team. There is a team of a public listed company that is Home Mill, and where there is lawyers and there is people from technology, but also we have a big list of advisors coming bigger, more and more, with important advisors that are helping us to make a better project in this space. As I began, I told of you that I am sharing with all of you this new opportunity of business. Is a huge opportunity. Is more than 10% of the GDP, of the world GDP, that is behind franchise. It's enormous market. If we get a part of this market solving their problems, crypto franchise will be a big opportunity of investment. Also, MIL token will be our test lab, will be our first customer, and will be used to test all these futures. I am open to all your questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Questions for crypto franchise?
So my first question was, you started off with the crypto franchise, And then you talked about an ICO for Meal Token. So are you raising money for the ICO for Meal Token or the crypto franchise?
I am raising money for the both. I am raising money initially for crypto franchise. That will be the terms of, we are in private sale on that now. And the exact terms of all that will be on the market in 10 days. And also we are launching the Meal Token as part of test lab of this crypto franchise. That will be after the crypto franchise.
The one's utility token, the other's a security token?
No, we try to, Meal Token is clearly, we have the legal opinion from Estonia as utility, and we are trying to design correctly the crypto franchise to be an utility, because if the relation brands with crypto franchise will be a relation as a pass, will be a platform as service or a blockchain as service, and then they are paying for this service. Then we will try to keep in the utility if it's possible. But we need to see if our lawyers in Estonia agree with that.
What would be, if they're both utility tokens, what would be the functionality difference between Meal Token and crypto franchise?
Well, the crypto franchise token is a token that will be bought and used by the brands, not by the consumers, either by the franchisees. Is
B2B versus B2C.
Exactly.
Okay.
The crypto franchise is the token that founds the crypto franchise business, and the brands buy these to have this. The Meal Token is the first brand that is using this platform, and will use this token to found all this business and to develop their franchise.
So if you're going to be allowing other franchises to go in and create their own token, why don't you have Meal Token be created by crypto franchise as well?
All the brands has their own token.
Okay. And they have to do their own ICO, or they just use it through you?
They can do their own ICO, and we will supply them all the tools to do this ICO. The layer, the business layer, one of the part of the business layer will be the ICO for these brands. We are an ICO platform for brands in the retail business. Okay, for using this platform. But they will use this, let's say, the crypto franchise token to do all that.
So this would be similar to sort of what Bancor and Local Coin has, where they would then have sort of smaller ICOs underneath, or sub tokens underneath the main token.
In this case, yes, it's like this. But also they have then, we are supplying them all the platform, it's because that I am selling, that we are a platform as service, because all the platform that will need the retailers, we will supply them. If the retailer owns their blockchain platform, we will be agnostic and we will plug their blockchain to our layer.
Questions?
To be honest, I'm very confused. Because I love the idea of crypto franchise. But what's Meal Token? Is Meal Token Nostrum?
Is Nostrum. It's the first brand. It's the first brand that will run these.
Okay. Because your website says that Meal Token is the world's first cryptocurrency for the franchise market.
Wow.
So really, you should just have so this is some advice. I think you should have a currency, to Michael's point, that is a franchise token.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about food. Franchising is everything.
You can go to the franchises, still the token not there. You can go crypto franchise slash, no slash.
Because you've got two businesses here.
Initially it was a Meal Token. It's a Meal Token. Yeah. Initially, but I think they developed the concept because
Is that right?
with you a couple of months ago. Is that right? Is that right? You are right like this.
But it should be one or the other. This is actually two different businesses.
It's two different businesses.
Yeah.
What I'm presenting.
So are you looking for money for Meal Token? Or are you looking for money for crypto franchise?
And for Meal Token, for the both. Meal Token is the second ICO that is coming after, and will be the first ICO
so Meal
of, the retail business.
So Meal Token's the second ICO?
Exactly.
What's the first ICO?
Crypto franchise.
Okay. And what's the crypto franchise brand, Meal Token? Or is there not one yet?
No, crypto franchise.
Frankie.
Well, the
And
name
that's not in
of
here.
the token is not still there.
So it is two different ICOs.
Exactly.
Okay. So you probably need some different documentation and
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think it's worth sort of clarifying what's happened. The interest that the crypto franchise platform has created, it's basically going to offer a white label platform for the franchise industry. And the interest that the MIL token has created, a number of lawyers and accountants have come to us and said, look, yeah, it's all very well having a restaurant business in France and Spain, you know, but I'm not really interested in that. What I've got is a bunch of clients who are running franchise businesses. It's 10% of the world GDP. I want to basically use that platform. Can I use it? And the amount of interest that we've had has meant that we've actually now ended up saying we're going to have two tokens because some people want to get involved in a very successful, and it's one of only a handful of publicly quoted companies, which I think in itself is very, very interesting in the sort of ICO market. But the crypto franchise has created, if I'm honest, much more interest for people to use it on a white label basis from the professional advisors. So that I think that's hence the bit of the confusion that's arisen.
And also is, as he has said, 2 months ago was the opposite. We changed the order because we have had so many interest about crypto franchise that we need to be first on crypto franchise and then MIL token. But MIL token is the test lab of crypto franchise. MIL token is the brand where we'll use the first all this technology and always we will test there.
It might be interesting if you just do the crypto franchise ICO, because I'm hearing here that seems to have the higher interest and certainly the larger global play, and have MIL token perhaps be a digital asset or a token underneath that rather than a separate ICO. Because as you know, ICOs are not easy and it's tough to do too. So, and also that way you'd be incentivizing the crypto franchise buyers because perhaps they are able to get, you know, rewards or staking to be able to create each new token, not just MIL token, but the next 10 franchises you work with, they'll go and bring their cash flow and their customers and their crypto economics, token economics to be able to purchase more tokens. But they'll also then, the existing holders then will be rewarded by getting, you know, sort of a higher demand for the tokens and perhaps then the option to go and buy some of these new ones at a better deal than anybody else on the open market.
Totally agree, but the question is that today we are focused in the crypto franchise ICO. We changed that, as he said. But the MIL token ICO and the brands ICO generally must be done if we want that works. Why? Because when I explain it, that you go to the marketplace and you buy the tokens and you keep in your pocket, is because the brand, MIL token the case, has anticipated all this money in the ICO. Okay? Then a brand to be on this platform needs to make the ICO because it's the way of anticipating all these franchise incomes. He anticipates that during the ICO, he founds his company, and because of that, then the franchisees gets this effect. Then the brand will need to make the ICO. Then what we will do, or what we are doing, is to do, because the interest before the crypto franchise ICO, and when this ICO will be finished, will follow the ICO of MIL token.
So
that is on the table.
It wouldn't be 2 ICOs under this model, it would be 100 ICOs. It would be the first one and then just rolling ICOs.
Exactly. That's right.
So can I just quickly ask, MIL token then is a raise for your business Nostrum?
Yeah.
And is that just based in, where is it based, Barcelona?
It's Barcelona.
So it's not a global ICO? So I couldn't order meals from Nostrum and have it delivered to my house in Bristol?
No, not yet.
Right.
Maybe in the future in Bristol.
So it's a local ICO, not a global ICO?
Exactly.
Whereas the crypto franchise would be global. I think that's why there's
the
more
crypto
interest.
franchise is the global ICO. The MIL token is a brand ICO. Any more questions?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I think we're ready for the cocktail party, and thank you everyone for sitting through 12 very different presentations. And during the party, we'll also announce our winners. We have rewards from Element. I believe it's $200,000 package of services they offer, and also from Swarm Fund, and there's a sizable package there as well. So the judges now are meeting. There's 3 of them, and we'll be announcing that probably in maybe 20 minutes. So stick around during the cocktail party to hear who the winners were. Thank you.